Hello, and welcome to another installment of BTFO, otherwise known as Brief Thoughts for Others. Today, I'll be discussing the 2024 film Speak No Evil. What to say about this film? I guess I'll start off with I went into this thinking that this was going to be complete and utter garbage. The trailers did not make it stand out as like anything other than that. Which I do find kind of funny that Blumhouse, like they keep trying to say like, hey guys, like we don't just make cringe horror movies, but at the same time they make a lot of cringe horror movies. But so I went into this not thinking that it would be great, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's not a great film by any means, and I definitely have problems with it. But I'll say right now that I would recommend going and seeing it if you're interested at all in it. Mostly, like, if you're interested in James Macavoi, I would definitely check this out, because I think he does give a pretty good performance throughout this movie. And now I guess I'll go into spoilers. I don't have that much to talk about, but so basically the plot is that why am I forgetting his name? The actor, he's the wheelchair guy in Batman v Superman. He's also in Gone Girl. He's in a lot of stuff. I don't know why I can't remember his name. He's fine. I don't know that I've ever really seen him excel at like a role, but at the same time I don't know that I've ever been disappointed in him as an actor. But so basically he and his wife and their daughter, they're out on vacation in Italy, and they're like staying at this one resort or whatever, and there's this other family that's James McAvoy, his wife, and their little boy, and like we see almost right off the bat wheelchair man, he basically he like wants to be more like James McAvoy's family, and this is conveyed without dialogue, which was really cool. It was definitely, for me, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, like maybe this isn't the movie I thought it was gonna be, because I would say that this movie, well, it's not something that like you need to be really smart to comprehend. It doesn't treat the audience like they're idiots, which was kind of nice, especially like coming from Blumhouse. But so basically then they end up befriending James McAvoy and his family, and then they find out that they're both living in England, and so James McAvoy invites them to come stay at his farm at some point, and so they go there, and then from there all sorts of things start not quite being right, and like I don't know, it's kind of interesting where So, to jump to the end, basically it gets revealed that James McAvoy is uh, like he's been basically just like befriending families and then killing the parents and like taking in the kid, uh, and they leave it up to interpretation whether she was telling the truth or not, but his wife at one point says that like she was a victim of his, which would line up with some other stuff that they say in the film. But basically, James McAvoy, he gets asked like, why are you doing this? And I really like the response where he goes, I'm doing this because you let us. And basically he tries to give this whole little speech about like you could have stopped this at any time. Like you could have just left. You could have gone home. But like you decided to get the rabbit or had to be polite and sort of stuff like that. And it's a neat concept. I just kind of wish that we got to do it a little bit deeper. And then wheelchair guy from Batman v Superman, we'll call him Dad from here on out. Throughout the film, he's shown to like he wants a like his wife is very much a overprotective parent, and so he wants to like have her loosen up a bit. He wants a lot more freedom. You can tell that he wants to stand up for himself in a lot of situations, but ultimately just doesn't, whether it's he doesn't have the courage or he feels it would be pointless. But we spend the whole time, or like the whole film, basically building that up, and then there's no payoff for it, which I think is really unfortunate. There's never a moment where he takes charge, really, which, you know, it's not to say, because all the other characters, they get their payoffs, and they're all fairly satisfying to varying degrees, but I really do wish that the dad actually got a payoff rather than just sort of being cucked. But yeah, I don't know. It's a neat little film. I was kind of disappointed. I could definitely hear in the theater that like a lot of people were like laughing at different parts, and I know right near the end the little girl pulls out a syringe to save herself, and I know that I heard one person like audibly be like, where did that come from? Which, you know, it's like, well, if you watched the movie, you would have seen her pick it up. Like, it's a quick shot, I know. Like, you know, you're probably used to movies like this holding on the item to make sure that you get it, that they grabbed it. But you know, I do feel a little bad for the guy who made this, because it's not terrible, but I feel like it was marketed as though it would be terrible. So I don't know. I kind of hope that people will actually give this a shot. I hope that the guy who made this goes on to do more work, because I found the writing, while not stellar, it's definitely passable, and it's got a lot of stuff in there that it's like, okay, yeah, if we if we like dug in here, if we actually developed a whole lot of this could be really good. Like James McAvoy does a really good job in this, where he's really good at coming across as like a very charming person who like would end up pushing someone's bounds, but not in a necessarily malicious way. And I guess it's a little disappointing that in the third act he just kind of turns into like, oh, I'm gonna kill you now. But yeah, I'd recommend this movie. Which I'm really surprised. I didn't think that I would going into it. But yeah, I do. So yeah, so I guess those are my brief thoughts on Speak No Evil. I hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.